Welcome. Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and I'm here for another presentation of past lives and how they influence this lifetime. And I wanted to share with you an example from my own personal life. Uh, it's the only way I really know how to teach is to share with you the things that have happened to me and to continue, hopefully, to be a positive influence on helping you get rid of some of the blockages and some of the things that hold you back. And by listening to the messages that I put out there, it can relieve you because it can help you identify some of the things that have happened to you. Uh, in my uh, practice, I cannot tell you how many times somebody has sat down in front of me and said, I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but, and effectively, what they've told me is something that either I've personally experienced or I've counseled somebody about one of their experiences. And so, really, there's nothing in the world that I feel anybody has to be. Christine, welcome. Welcome, Christine. There's nothing that anybody has to feel that they're going to say, think, or do that isolates them from humanity. Because my personal belief is that every single one of us has had experiences that we can't understand. Every single one of us has had mystical experiences because essentially who we are is spirit having a human experience. And the beauty with what is happening to us now is that the planet is ascending, we are ascending, and the experiences that we're all having are effectively changing our vibrational level to be able to accept what we might once have tried to hide. And effectively not only hide from each other, but hide from ourselves and pretend that this never happened. Um, the past life experience that I wanted to share with you that I experienced with my husband is happened in the 80s. I think it was 1989 to be exact. I had determined that I was tired of being a one man broker team and just working in my little office by myself and selling real estate by myself. I wanted to go with a large company. And I had chosen Long and Foster, which is one of our local companies. And then I made a sale to a Remax agent. And in fact, her name was B. Arthur. She's since passed. But she said, no, 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 no. You don't want to go with Long and Foster. You come with us. And so she introduced me to her boss and the man who owned her company. And I ultimately decided to go with Remax. Well, when I told my husband that I was going to do this, he raced around the room. He grabbed a suitcase. He raced around the room as if he were packing his clothes. He was packing his clothes. He was just grabbing clothes from here, there, and everywhere, stuffing them into a suitcase as if he were going to leave me. And when I confronted him on about that, I asked him why he did that. And he looked at me completely blank and hadn't a clue as to what I was talking about. He did not have any recollection of doing that. But I remember very, very clearly As I witnessed him racing around the room, throwing clothes into a suitcase, I had a vision of him in a past life where he was standing there very, very poor. And I recognized that in that lifetime, he was a thief and he couldn't get enough to eat ever. He couldn't, he was always hungry, he was always on the run. Um, he lived with a gang of people that just kind of lived in the shadows and came out only to be uh, to pillage when, if and when they could. And what I recognized was that that helped to explain some of his characteristics that I really did not understand in the past. And I really started to feel just very calm about what was happening. And I basically felt, so be it. You know, whatever happens is going to happen. At that point, I just was not going to change my mind about going with Remax. He calmed down and we went on with our lives. I became a Remax broker for 6 years until 1995. And then I decided I wasn't going to stay there anymore because real estate was no longer the focus of my life. The second thing that I want to share is that effectively, technically, there is no such thing as a past life because what you recognize as when you leave this dimension is that the soul exists on almost like a plane that looks like a disc, and the the soul is broken down into, and I'm going to paint a word picture for you, and hopefully you can follow this. The soul is broken down into multiple uh, streams of consciousness. And it starts with the monad that is connected to God. And the monad has then splits into 12 souls, and each one of the 12 souls splits into 12 soul personalities. So that at any given time, there are 144 pieces of you running around in this uh, well, I'm not going to say in this place because there's not 144 levels of consciousness running around on planet Earth, but somewhere in some dimension, in some form, you exist. You are one of the 144 pieces. And that kind of helps people to understand, and it helps to explain why in any given lifetime you could run across 4 people, 5 people, 10 people that claim to be Mary Magdalene, because effectively they are one of the what I call soul personalities or soul aspects of the person. So effectively, you do not have to feel like you just have this one shot at it. If you don't make it right, you blew it. That is not true because your monad is connected to an oversoul. And the oversoul is the piece of you that gives you a, uh, that effectively is like almost like a giant computer that coordinates, makes sure that what one soul learns, all the other souls get the benefit of, and backwards and forwards in time. And effectively, um, again, time is the fourth dimension, and when you go into the fifth dimension, time no longer exists because everything becomes a giant now. What was happening then is happening now. I hope that this explanation has given you a little bit of clarity. I will be presenting a class on this in the future, and this will be under a module called Soul Development. And I'll have charts that will make this a little bit easier to understand so that you can really feel confident that you are part of something that is so much greater than you are. That what you might feel like on the surface. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, taking the time to be here. And because I know Facebook Live and YouTube, of course, stays up forever. I just found out that Karina just told me that Instagram is posted and will stay up for 24 hours. But Facebook Live, I'm not sure what the duration is of Facebook Live, but
And YouTube too. YouTube will stay forever.
YouTube will stay forever and
Mhm.
Facebook Live stays
Mhm,
forever.
yes.
Okay, so it's on my this is on accessible through my Facebook, and I am also going to ask my webmaster to put some of these on my website. So I think that we are going to. Uh, I just want to end this with any uh, to see if there are any questions out there. But if there aren't, that's okay too. Uh, we've had a very, very busy week. We've had lovely weather. This is a gorgeous time to be outside. I took the time this morning to walk in Burke Lake, which I live right next to, and ironically, had two people in front of me that were about 12 feet in front of me stop me, and they said that we're letting a snake cross the path, and I saw it disappear into the other side of the path, just very, very silently. And to me, I always know that when a snake appears in my life, and it is in everybody's life, whether they know it or not, it's a sign of transformation. So this was a rather large one, so I have a feeling that something big is around the corner and that I'll be co creating something large because I keep getting more and more downloads as to how to present my material. And what I keep seeing is modules. So, uh, and modules that can be then taken where and used and where you can open them at your convenience, no matter where you are in the world, and how often you want to look at them. So, anyway, we will say goodbye for right now, and we'll start the second segment in just a few moments. Thank you. And before I say goodbye, I did want to introduce the book that I've written, Own Your Power Day by Day, and 365 meditations, every single one of which will make you feel better. That's the energy of the words in this book are almost miraculous. Thank you, and we will see you soon.